Welcome to the Redvee TV Show, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season. It's here, Kevin. It is the preview for the World Club Challenge against Penrith Panthers on Saturday morning. I was going to say the countdown's over, but there's still a couple more videos to come out tomorrow and Friday.
Yes, indeed. But it is, we're on the cusp of it, aren't we? On the cusp of an absolutely massive game.
Yeah, it's been dubbed history in the making by the club, 150 years in the making. Saturday morning, Kev, could see Saints achieve, quite simply, the biggest accomplishment in the club's history if they can make it world title number 3 in the Australians' backyard.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Obviously, we've had so many achievements as a club, especially over the past couple of years, going 4 in a row. But going over to Australia and winning over there is a massive achievement. We've been over there for a good amount of time to try and acclimatise and get used to kind of the conditions over there, get used to the surroundings, get some training in. But this is next level, isn't it? This is step and step and step up.
Yeah, absolutely huge following. I've gone down under to get behind the boys. There was plenty at Wollongong last Saturday for the St. George game. Even more have made the trip. I was going to say plane, train and automobile, and probably a odd boat or two. But yeah, at least 500 Saints fans over there in Australia Saturday morning to cheer the boys on. Not sure the Aussies will have heard group singing at a rugby league match before, especially in Australia. Not since probably the Great Britain tours. As Saints get a chance to probably only, whisper it lightly, emulate Wigan, who did it in 1994 against Brisbane. Yeah,
you know what? It's great seeing all the pictures of the fans in the grounds and round and about in Australia. It's fantastic. Obviously, very jealous of not being there. But you know what? It's good on them. It's good that they're making themselves heard as well. In that first game that you mentioned against St. George, you could hear the "Oh, when the Saints" chant starting, and I expect to hear very, very similar on Saturday morning when we play Penrith. Now,
obviously, we found out yesterday, kickoff has been delayed. It was due to be a 7 o'clock kickoff. It is now going to kick off at 7:50.
Yep.
I've got that right. I am doing well. 7:50 a.m. UK time. Because of the temperatures that are expected to get up to 40 degrees, Kev. Hopefully they'll start to cool down given that extra hour, but it's still going to be hot and humid. And some rule changes have been put in place to try and mitigate and keep the players safe.
Yeah, and I liked Wello's quote saying that some Aussies thought we were Eskimos living in igloos and we're not used to having to deal with high temperatures. Listen, sunny St. Helens doesn't quite hit 40 degrees, but we've travelled to the south of France for the past God knows how many years. The Wembley final against Castleford was absolutely roasting hot. So it's not that we're not used to it, but it's still going to be tough conditions for us down there. And you're right, these rule changes that have come in are paramount. You can't just have player welfare as lip service. You've got to look after the players. And we've started by doing that by introducing a couple of new rules, haven't we?
Yeah. So 18 players can be used. 10 interchanges instead of 8. And the last one is the game will be played in 4 quarters. Now, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work yet. Is it going to be literally a 20-minute hooter, or is it going to be round about the closest time between like sets ending or the ball going out of play?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they do it. There's also restrictions eased on trainers to enable them to provide water to players as another little addition to the rules. It's interesting.
Kev, the Warrington training staff were like, there was a rule. We thought we could just play in the line.
Well, this being changed to 18 players makes our life easier, I think, when we come to pick our teams. But yeah, as I say, when we're looking for the balance between a tough game and player welfare, I think when you've got something like this that you can do something very, very easily about, then you've got to make that decision. And the fact that you've already made that decision, made it early in the week, is the right one. It's a good call.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, have they done it for us or have they done it for Penrith because it's their pre-season game?
Probably a little bit of A and a little bit of B, David.
Yeah, but mostly for them.
Yeah, well, they don't want us having a sniff. And as I say, this is going to be step up anyway. It's a different kettle of fish to playing that St. George team. But, yeah, they just don't want us being... I mean, imagine if we're a couple of points ahead with 5 minutes to go. They won't be liking that.
No. Listen, bookmakers don't normally get it wrong.
Yeah.
And we're getting a 20-point start. I do believe they are getting that wrong. I don't think we're going to be that far apart. But it's going to take a monumental effort to overcome an Australian side in a competitive fixture when the finances are on a different level, aren't they? Is it Scrooge McDuck? What's his name?
Yeah, well, so there is a cartoon character called Scrooge McDuck, but I'm going to need some context.
Lying in his gold.
Yes, yeah, that is Scrooge McDuck.
Well, that's the Aussies. And we've got bean counters.
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of disparity between the two leagues. Probably when you talk about finances, talk about sponsorship deals, talk about coverage, talk about intensity, talk about skill level of players potentially. I'd say across the board, because I think we've got some skillful players in Super League as well.
That because we've got Jack Wellesby and Johnny Lomax up here.
Yep.
And they've got Nathan Cleary down here.
I'm glad that's you going to be clipped. If someone just clips that, I'm glad it's you that's going to be done for it.
It was a joke. Listen, I've seen some of the Aussie banter over the weekends, like before mobile phones existed. Doesn't travel well.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Oh, here's your Macho Man outfit.
Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
Yeah. The Saints are going to be laying the smack down.
Yeah, sorry. I stuck with the Saints theme.
Right, squads, Kevin.
Yes.
Saints first up, obviously a huge blow. Finding out that obviously Joe Batchelor's not going to make it and will require surgery to his ankle upon his return to the UK. Obviously, you'd expect Morgan Knowles to be coming straight back in by the fact that we're using his picture.
Yeah.
And hopefully his illness is cleared up. So will he just be the straight replacement into the 13?
Yeah, I think he'll just come straight back in, won't he? I don't think there's much doubt about that. As long as he's fit anyway, he'll be the one who just steps in. And I can't see too many more changes to that starting 13 either.
Who starts for you, Sirinen or James Bell?
Sirinen. Yeah, I think Sirinen starts for me. I'd go with the team of Wellesby, Makinson, Harrell, Percival, Hopoate, Lomax, Dodd, Walmsley, Roby, Lees, Matautia, Siren and Knowles. That's what I'd go with. I think that James Bell had a great game against St. George, but I think Sirenan was probably my man of the match for it. And that just, to me, gives him the edge. I think he's... he's got a famous dad who came over here and ripped it up. He's just got that... I don't know, has he got something to prove a little bit after having a lot of injury problems over in the NRL? Maybe. He just wants to get out there and rip in. And I think he'd turn around and say, if I asked him that question, no, he hasn't got anything to prove, but probably subliminally he's just thinking, yeah, I want to get out there and rip in and really show him what type of player I am.
Yeah, even Andrew Voss was saying that he looked in the best condition that he's seen him in for many a year. Now, I completely agree with you on the starting 13. Do you agree with my bench of Louis, Iggy, Jake Wingfield, James Bell, and Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook?
You've already said... Who did you say first?
Joey Lussick.
Okay. Yes, I do. I thought you said Louis.
Everybody is currently rewinding the last minute of this video to see if that's what I said.
I thought you said Louis twice. Sorry, my mistake. Oh,
Good for the watch time.
Yes, it's that's exactly what I've got written down here. So Dan Norman, Ben Davis, John Bennison and T. Ritson missing out. I just see that obviously Louis and Iggy currently are in place as your next in line props, your interchange props. I think Jake Wingfield can play a couple of different positions across the pack. I think James Bell was great last week, so has to be involved. And Joey Lussick, again, I think he was good last week. I think that was one of his best performances in a Saints shirt. So he's going to be involved because we're not going to ask Roby at 37 years of age to play 80 minutes when it's 40 degrees.
Why not?
He probably could. They just reprogram him and just let him go.
If this game was played mid-season, would T. Ritson be in that team? Am I playing if, buts and maybes?
Yeah, I know we're playing ifs, buts and maybes. Depends how he goes, doesn't it? I can easily sit on the fence here. Yeah, I think if he gets a run and he's scoring tries and his defence is up to scratch where we need it to be Super League wise, because he brings that X factor pace that you can't teach. You can't teach anybody to run as quick as that. He potentially does. I'll go with potentially.
I'm fairly certain that T. Ritson starts at Cass.
Yeah. Oh, if people aren't involved in this game on Saturday, I would be shocked if Dan Norman, Ben Davis, John Bennison and T. Ritson aren't involved in that Cass game. Yeah. Genuinely.
Where do you think the key battles are going to be? Who needs to step up if Saints are going to have a chance?
I think defensively, Conrad. I think there was a couple of times where he shot out the line against St. George. So just want to see him kind of hold his nerve a little bit more there. I think we'll be looking for Johnny Lomax to get his hands on the ball a little bit and kind of dictate play a little bit more alongside Lewis Dodd. Because as we said last week, I don't think Johnny had his best game. But Johnny's got enough credit in the bank that you know full well that he is going to turn around, be his own harshest critic and try and put on an absolute show on Saturday morning. And again, it's matching him in the forwards. It is matching him in the forwards. You've got to go forward. It's all very well having a great defence, which has won us championships because it does. But we need to create as well. And we need to take our chances because there's been the World Cup Challenge. Was it the Roosters game where we had a couple of injuries, but we didn't quite take our chances and it cost us in the game. because it was quite a close game up at as it was Langtree Park probably then, and it cost us because we didn't take them chances. So we've got to execute our final plays, and we've got to be at maximum for the whole 80 minutes here to beat Penrith. For me, we cannot dip, we cannot make mistakes on our own line, we cannot give them loads of repeat sets, because in this heat that'll kill you. So we need to step up and step up and step up, because this Penrith team, I mean, they've been, is it champions 2 years in a row down there now? They've got some great players. It's going to be a tough evening / morning.
Yeah, listen, for me, we need to start like we did against St. George, quick, fast, get into an early lead, take our chances early on in the first 10, 15 minutes, because there is potential that many of this Penrith side haven't played yet and may start off a little bit under par or rusty, and it might take a 20 minutes to start shaking that off and get some rhythm back. So if we can start like we did against St. George, get those chances put away and the points on the board, it gives you something to hold on to. And then all of a sudden, we've seen Saints play final football, kick long, deep, make teams come from deep against us. But equally, we can't put ourselves in that position. If we find ourselves down on the scoreboard, it could spiral out of control, couldn't it?
Yes, and that's a worry, because then you might start trying to chase play a little bit. And I don't think necessarily you mean to, but I think panic can set in. I'm going to go back to a game where quite a few of these players may well not have played in it. You go to the Challenge Cup final when we got beat by Warrington, where I was watching that on TV, and you could see us panicking and trying things, and you think you're going away from our set tactic. Stick with the plan. Stick with what we do. If it doesn't work, fair enough. And you probably will find last 10, 20 minutes, that's when you start trying to do Harlem Globetrotter-esque stuff. But you've got to stick to it, and you can't, after 35, 40 minutes, start throwing that plan out the window.
Yeah. And listen, we had that hoodoo for a few years, didn't we, when we got to the big games? There was the semi-final at Bolton against Castellan as well. Same thing went on then. We fell behind and we just lost our heads. I'd like to think that mentally this team is a lot stronger than that now, given what we've gone through the past couple of years. Say what we've gone through, picking up trophies, knowing how to win. And I think what this squad has got is a winning mentality. And I think they'll want to prove the Aussies wrong, because there's been a lot of rubbish wrote over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, listen, we're nowhere near on the salary cap, but there's a good fair chunk of that squad who you could drop into an NRL team and they do a job. And some potential superstars.
There are potential superstars in there. I don't watch the NRL enough to know I know the standards better than over here from the little bits I see. But we have got superstars, and we've got players who probably, if they'd have gone over there a couple of years ago, would have made it definitely in the... We've spoken about that in the past anyway. We've got players who have played NRL. We just need the experience of them lads and a bit of youthful exuberance to try and get us through this game and see how we come out the other side of it.
We'll put up the Penrith squad, but Kev, listen, like you, don't watch the NRL, but you're aware of some of the names. You know the superstars. Nathan Cleary, potentially the best halfback in World Rugby League at the moment. There's some big name players there, and we're going to have to be on our guard all over the field.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. Like Stephen Crichton there played for, was it Samoa in the World Cup, in the team of the World Cup. I don't think he played fullback, though. I don't know. I think Taylor May as well. He's another Samoan international. And might get the pronunciation of this wrong. I do apologise if I do. But Brian Tuo, he's scored 45 tries in 70 games, according to Wikipedia, which I've got up here because it is helping me out. You've got Jerome Luai, who, again, another Samoan international. They've all got experience, and they've got that experience recently of getting to a World Cup final, haven't they? And that's it. It's, you see, we're on about players who kind of have been hitting the heights for us. He may not exactly get into the top 17 every week, but Jack Cogger there, who used to play for Huddersfield, who didn't pull up any trees in Super League, but he's back over there, he's got a contract and he's playing in a World Club Challenge. And this is where you've got players like that who are going to want to step up and show that they should be in and around that squad throughout this season.
Yeah. Liam Martin, second rower, also misses out for them. Obviously, it's a huge blow for Penrith to be losing him. But I'll tell you what, they haven't got, Kev.
Go on.
As good a local sponsorship base as we have.
You can tell that we love kitchen.
Yeah.
Listen. Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't mind going for a coffee at the cafe at Lewis.
Yeah.
Trying to see any others there. Capri Racing as syndicates.
And then because you're a pommy knock your teeth out, you can go to Wisdom Dental and Denture Clinic.
Fair enough. Nice pun on right way plumbing as well. I'm happy with that. I'm happy to go with that.
And our fans will be happy that they have gone round the Sporting Globe.
Yes. Oh, very good. Very good.
And hopefully Saints can steal the win with the help of Protect Locksmiths.
You're now just going through and saying them out loud.
Well, listen, there's a few of our fan base who've gone over there and have took a Chardon and Abbott's home loan out to pay for the journey.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say. I wondered where you're going with that one.
Oh, well. Predictions, Kev.
Just stay in it. I think that's more a plea than a prediction. Stay in the game, as you say. See if we can get ahead. See if we can get ahead early and cause them to panic rather than us. See if they start. I'm not sure that they will, but see if we can kind of get the rustiness to show through rather than ours. Listen, mate, it's going to be tough to take anything away from this. A good performance, some guts as we've always shown. And as Jack Welsby says, he doesn't think he's been into many games in his Saints career as an underdog. So it's going to be nice for him to do that. I think the bookies have got it right that we are the underdogs here. Fingers crossed we can just make a good show of ourselves, because if we can't, God forbid if we'd have brought any other Super League teams with us. Yeah,
listen, I think there's a lot of hypotheticals being talked about, given it's been a while since the British side travelled down under, and the way the Aussies like to talk up their competition. It's the equivalent of the NFL talking itself up in a one world competition. I know we've got one, but you know what I mean? It's very insular, the competition over there. They don't like to give any credits to us over here for what we do. And I think it's going to be a real marker to where the games in both countries are at. Because at the end of the day, for us, bar Joe Batchelor's injury, there is no excuses for how we perform. It's not a new team. There's not a lot of injuries. So it's a marker to where the British game is, because Saints are this country's best. So I hope we just give it our best shot, do ourselves proud, and you want to come away with your dignity intact, and hopefully a trophy in your suitcase.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. You get the odd nice comment about Super League from over in Australia. They're waiting to absolutely beat us down. So, as you say, come back with our dignity, have played a good game, be satisfied with what's been left out on the field. And you know what? If there's mistakes, there's mistakes. If there's a falling apart of what we do as a club, then I'll start asking questions. But I can't see that happening. I just think we're going to go out there and we're going to face an absolutely brilliant NRL team.
Yeah, but Matty Lees is 100-1 for first try scorer, Kev. So this be your warning. If you are not on it, don't cry when he crosses after 2.5 minutes. It's got to be worth a $5.
Yeah.
Got to be.
Well, worth £1.
Worth £1. Don't bet more than you can afford to lose. And when the fun stops, stop. In that case, it stopped in about 2006.
Correct.
Right, that's it, Kev. I'll make my prediction. Saints by 16.
I think we'll leave it there.
No. Real prediction, if I'm being honest, I don't know. The head says Penrith, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the heart says never write off the Saints. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you after the game for an instant fan reaction. Come on, the S-Men.